Peace. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. This evening, we want to discuss NYPD limiting qualified immunity for police officers, and will they target the police unions next? First, let us unpack what qualified immunity is for police officers. Qualified immunity for police officers is a defense to standing civil trial. It is raised by the officer well in advance of the actual trial on the merits. Law enforcement officers are entitled to qualified immunity when the actors or actions do not violate a clearly established statutory or constitutional right. And what is an example of qualified immunity? For instance, when a police officer shot a 10-year-old child while trying to shoot a non threatening family dog, the 11th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals held that the officer was entitled to qualified immunity because no earlier case held it unconstitutional for an officer to shoot recklessly or fire his gun into a crowd. And why do they give police officers qualified immunity? It's a bunch of yes, but they give police officers qualified immunity. They say they need qualified immunity to carry out their jobs, meaning that they can act recklessly and fire indiscriminately into crowds or at a family pet and shoot the child and don't have to be held accountable for it, which is a bunch of nonsense. It said public officials and particularly police officers perform vital tasks that may require split-second decisions in stressful circumstances. Taking away qualified immunity could lead to officers being hesitant to act when it's most needed. A bunch of nonsense. That is nonsense, and we all know that's nonsense. Now, we could take, for example, the police in Detroit were filming a episode of the First 48, and they were looking for a murder suspect. And they went into a home, and a baby was in this home. An officer by the name of Weekly, he busted into the room, shot and killed a 7-year-old by the name of Aiyana Jones in Detroit. Now, this was reckless, yet Officer Weekly didn't do a day in jail. I don't know if he was fired, yet qualified immunity is a law that keeps officers from being held accountable when they so-called make mistakes. What about when these police officers do these things on purpose? No one should have immunity from the law. To know the law and be an officer of the law means that you should obey it more so than citizens. If you want the citizens to obey the law, you you should obey the law also. And if you break the law, you should be held more accountable than a citizen, because none of us put our hand on any scripture and swore to uphold the law or the Constitution. So we shouldn't be held accountable to that. So I want to open up the discussion to any other brothers who wants to come on the panel and talk about this. Give me 1 second. Assalamu alaikum, brother Kyrie.
Walaikum salam, Brother Nasir.
Salute, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this evening's discussion is qualified immunity.
Yes,
And
sir.
the two names is it's kind of the two words rather is kind of it makes I'm not skeptical of it, but it's just I'm suspicious of it. Qualified immunity. What makes these people qualified for the immunity? It's like when a police officer is supposed to be the professional, like what they did with Breonna Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they broke into their house. The brother thought that he was, and he and his woman was being a victim of a home invasion. So he shot at the door, and they was at the house serving a warrant, so they say, on somebody who was already apprehended. So, and you know, through experience, we know through friends and family members that we lost, you know, how this goes as far as police officers even shooting indiscriminately, like the only officer who was charged in a situation with Breonna Taylor. He was charged for shooting indiscriminately in another house, not even in Breonna Taylor's house, in another house. The only person who was charged. Yet qualified immunity was a and is a excuse to let officers walk when they do something wrong, because a lot of these officers have ill intent when they approach us. They approach us with with malice, and they want us to do what they tell us to do, and they set us up and they want us to trust them while they jam us up, and a lot of times they want us to conduct the investigation on ourselves, help them with their investigation, and when we refuse to, it can sometimes end deadly. So, can you please, my good brother, expound on this qualified immunity?
Well, I mean, it seems to me it's nothing. It's nothing new about it. Since the time of when they first enacted and put these guys into power for the police, because we all know where they come from. They come from overseas, over the plantation and watching over their Negroes or niggas, for
Yes,
lack of
sir.
a better term, when they run to get them and gather them and bring them back to the plantation in which they may have tried to escape and gain freedom from.
Yes, sir.
So all it is just a way of not having any accountability. We can do whatever we want to do when we feel like it, and then the legislature and the lawmakers giving them the ability and all the tools to be able to do what they want to do and not being charged or even being able to take up civil matters. You can't
Yes,
sue
sir.
them. You can't hold them accountable. You can't do anything about it. And that's all that I look at it as. Again, I think we've had this discussion many times before that the only laws that are made is for us to abide by, but they don't apply to them.
Yes.
They are all made in reference to keep us in check, to keep they Negroes or niggers in check so they
Yes,
can
sir.
continue what they want to do and they don't have to abide by them because they're above the law. I think I think my cousin Connor, and he is a victim of it himself. You know, he got shot and killed by an officer up in New Brunswick
Yes, sir.
who shot him in the back because he allegedly fled from him and he was by himself, no weapon, no nothing. He never returned out of the yard. He
Yes, sir.
returned out of the yard in a body bag. You know, so they've been doing this, man, for over 500 years. It's the same. It's the same thing in all the cases with Brianna, the brother down in what's that, Atlanta, Georgia. Uh, hell, Ed Gardner being choked out by the
Yes,
police
sir.
officer. Yeah. So I mean, you
In the
know, it's
back, in the back though, brother. Like
yeah,
a
yeah,
friend of ours back in '91,
yes, sir.
Sean Potts, shot in the back,
Yeah,
and the police officer wasn't charged.
yeah. None of them hardly rarely ever get charged, brother, with anything when it comes to miscarriage of justice to us. As I
Yes,
was
sir.
saying before that, my cousin as as he said, man, it's we have a system, man, that is governed by crooks and ran by thieves. This is
Wow.
our government and our judicial system,
Yes, sir.
you know. And I think
Yes,
he
sir.
kind of coined it correctly
Absolutely correct.
because there's always there has very slim and hardly none of the time have been any justice for the so-called Negro in America when it come
Yes,
down to
sir.
the when it's come down to the judicial system.
If you look, if you look, if you look at the Peace Brother Leonardo,
Much respect, good brothers. Go ahead. I'm muting up.
Brother, how
Much
are you, man?
respect.
Yes, sir.
if you look at that Philando Castile shooting, that cop wasn't at the car for a minute before he was shooting in the car. Just count it down. Look at it when you get a chance to count it down. He wasn't in that car a minute before he was shooting in that car, and he had a child in the back and a woman
Mm-hmm.
sitting on the side of him. Now, this is a man who did everything he was supposed to do, like everybody else, to get his gun permit. And the fact that,
According to the law.
according to the law,
Yes, sir.
just like the brother Breonna Taylor's boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
the brother did everything he was supposed to do to obtain his gun permit, like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he has a gun, see, that's what I don't like when they say, "Oh, he had a gun, he had a gun." It's not against the law to have a gun. Just the fact that they see a black man with a gun and he's able to defend himself, and that's a problem with racists, white supremacists. There's a problem with them.
Yes, sir.
And the scariest thing, you know, especially when you got a brother who knows his rights and have knowledge of self and others, and he has a actual physical weapon besides his brain that's very scary to this
Right.
cracker. Very scary to
But
this
that's
cracker.
the unspoken. That's the unspoken law. The unspoken law is
Yes,
that nigga, you ain't supposed to have no weapon.
exactly. Like the experiment they did with the friends who were black and white.
Yes, sir.
They did. You can find the video somewhere. It's out there where the white boy walked past the cops with the AR-15. They had a conversation with him, admired the weapon, had a conversation with him, and then they let him go. The brother walked past with the AR-15. They ordered him to the ground.
Yes, sir.
Ordered him to the ground. That's what they did with him. And he had the same credential that the white boy had. See, qualified immunity, in my humble opinion, I'm not going to even say opinion, I'm going to say assessment because it happened, is a reason to let them go when they do something stupid or when they fire indiscriminately or if they murder somebody,
No
outright
doubt.
murder somebody. Because I've seen police officers get away with outright murder. You know it in our own city,
Absolutely.
outright murder. The brother in Georgia at the Wendy's, he ran away,
Mm-hmm.
fired into his back. Um, the sister in New Brunswick
Mm-hmm.
shot her, a woman. A man shot a woman because he said she bit his finger, so he shot her for biting his finger. And they the biggest cowards in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be protected. They want to be protected from paying for what they do. What about the accountability and that split second decision they said they got to make? Come on, come on. The split second decision. They make split second decisions on children, brother, unarmed children. Tamir Rice, dispatch said it's likely a toy gun. Jumped out as soon as he wasn't out the car 3 seconds before he was fired into that child.
11 years old, brother.
Exactly. And the police officer who shot the 10-year-old shooting at the dog, he got away with it because there was no law that said, no law established that he can't fire his gun into a crowd. So he's qualified for immunity. And you know, New York City, they use it all the time. They use it with Sean Bell.
Yep.
The first thing they'll say, now, these young brothers who was driving away from them, they shot into the car and said they were afraid
Yeah.
for their life.
It's out of it.
They was driving away from them.
Yeah, brother Nasir, brother, they've been using that immunity since the slave patrol, like you
Yes,
said,
sir.
and getting away with it. And we
Yes, sir.
allowed them to get more and more and more and more and more power.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Qualified immunity, brother.
Yes, sir.
Immunity, immune from prosecution, and immune from civil cases, brother.
Yeah.
Now, that lets you know what your intention is if you want to give somebody. And they said that's before the fact, brother.
Hmm.
Before the fact. That's what I'm gonna look it up. That's before the fact. They Well, they said, how does a police officer you lose qualified immunity? Said police officer cannot invoke the qualified immunity doctrine if they violated a right that was clearly established. That's most case scenario with us.
Mm-hmm.
Most case scenario. So it has to be clearly established at the time of the violation. What makes a constitutional right clearly established? It's up for debate. The Supreme Court has made conflicting statements. This was February of this year.
I mean,
So
the
how does?
statement, it's a contradiction in itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because as soon as they come and they pull one of us over, what's the first thing they say? Probable cause.
Probable
It
cause.
ain't. It hasn't been established, so there's always that gray line that's there. It ain't never nothing that's black or white. There's always a gray line that's there because they always come with what they have probable cause. And in their case, probable cause is you had a light that was out,
Exactly. Exactly.
and
And
then
they
when they
want.
came to the car and asked you for your credentials, you had something there that appeared to look like an object that may have been a gun, something shiny that was there. So now it goes into they fear for their life. All nonsense, brother. Everything is speculative, and everything that they come with, man, probable cause, for lack of a better term, man, is BS right from the game.
Yes, sir. Now, what about the video of the white boy pulled over by the cops just recently too?
Mm, yeah.
And they pulled him over. They seen a gun. They pulled their guns out, but they didn't shoot him. They didn't shoot him. And he was reaching for the gun. They still didn't shoot him. And they said, if you reach for the gun again, we're going to sick the dog on you. The white boy said, and I'm going to shoot you if you sick that dog on me. So I'm going to shoot you. Now, just imagine. Salute to God Body. Salute to Brother Chris. Salute to Balanced Truths.
Salute, brothers. Salute to all the brothers in the chat.
Salute to
Salute.
everybody in the chat. I didn't get to see everybody, but salute to the good brothers. Now, just imagine. That's enough to get you locked up, to get one of us bagged up. Even though they threatened him first, if they would threaten us to sick the dog on us, we said, okay, you sick the dog on me, I'm gonna shoot you. That's enough to get us bagged up.
Well, brother, they got
Now,
they got collection for the protection.
indeed. Now, the white boy got tired of them and drove off. Said, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm tired of this. And drove off. And they didn't shoot into their car.
Because they got the complexion for the protection, brother. There's always a different way in how they handle us when a situation comes.
Indeed.
Case in point, in Colorado, the white the white Muslim that shot up that store down there. When they brought him out, when they brought him out, they walked him out, and he returned fire on a police officer that came in to combat and stop him from doing what he was doing. He took the police officer out.
Fact.
They walked him out, and as you see him walking him out and walking him to the ambulance, they're checking his wound. And then they sit him down on the gurney, get him together, and made sure he had a comfortable ride to the hospital. Had that been one of us, brother, we'd have never made it out of the supermarket. We'd have came out of the supermarket in the body bag.
Oh yeah, just like they did with Dylan Roof. They apprehended
Absolutely.
him. They
They got
went
him
to
with
him,
stop.
no guns
They went
drawn enough.
proof.
Exactly.
Can I say something, brothers, real quick?
Yes, sir. Indeed.
Basically, I through my research, that happens because we wasn't a part of the Constitution from the beginning, and
Absolutely.
and that's
Yes.
why I believe they have. That's why they doing this to us and not to everybody else. You see what I'm
Yes, sir,
saying?
brother.
And I felt like we should have been fighting for this 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And that's why I feel like I said, they had that right. They do that to us, and their serial shooters walk away and get locked up. Our people getting killed for any reason. You
Yes,
know
sir.
what I mean? So I don't know, my brother. We need to like really unite and make a change for our grandchildren, for our children and our grandchildren.
I totally agree, brother.
Absolutely.
Totally agree, brother.
Absolutely.
If we
Nothing
love
wrong.
our grandchildren and our children, we'll do that because they are, to me, in my opinion, they're trying all they can to get us to engage. They go as much as slamming our daughters down on the floor, choking our 8-year-old sons and daughters, arresting, spraying little black girls with mace in Rochester, New York, putting cuffs
Yeah.
on babies and spraying them with mace because the little girl crying for her father and they can't take her noise. And they actually putting their knee in the back of our babies. My honest opinion, brother, they haven't met the right father. They haven't gotten the right father. Because if you put your hand on my child, it's a problem. And my children grown. You still better not put your hands on them. But I have grandchildren. I have grandnieces and nephews. And, they're trying to get us to engage in a war. And we don't know we're in a war. We constantly fighting with each other. And we got an open and consistent enemy. They've been consistent with this fight against us, brother. And I agree with you, brother Leonardo. You got to fight them back. Have to fight them back.
Well, brother,
Now,
I think it's been taught, man, and told to us, man, through our teachings, brother, of the Most Honorable Elijah, that we cannot get along with this open and consistent enemy. We got to get away from him, brother, because as long as we stay underneath them and stay with them and in the midst of them, these things are going to continue to keep happening. The only thing that we really can do is to defend
salute,
ourselves. That's the only right that we had, brother. Constitutional right that we had.
indeed. Salute to the
Defend
mental
ourselves,
ninja.
brother.
What up? What up with
Welcome,
y'all?
welcome
Hey,
to
what's
the
going on, big
platform,
brother?
brother.
You know,
Thank you.
and get away
Yes, sir.
and start, man, to build a community, man, in which we can live with together. We got to get out of this thing, man, to where they want to, or people believe, man, that we're not all one community. Man, we're a black nation, brother. I don't care about under what religious belief you say you're under, what you may try to call yourself or want to be, or you may want or say about yourself, brother. When they look at us, I don't care if you light skin, dark skin, brown. If you got any melanin in your skin, still nigga to them.
Yeah, it's
Until
like
we understand that,
Yes, sir.
Together
We're the only one.
collectively together. Yeah, we
We're
fight
the only
amongst
one who
ourselves. We
distinguish
fight amongst
ourselves.
ourselves.
We're the only
Yeah.
one who distinguish ourselves. We got to stop distinguishing ourselves from one another because when our enemies see us, they see us as one people. So we got to start seeing ourselves as one people. Because when we start saying we're this and we're that, our enemy don't see that. They don't see that about us. When they look at us, it's enough to murder us. I'll
Bro,
kill us.
what color is the target in the silhouette that they shoot at the shooting range?
Exactly. Exactly. And when they're training, most of the time the bad guy is the brother.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me how I know. I know Leonardo know because he's militarily trained.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Militarily trained. So I know he know. Brother Mental Ninja. You have anything to add to the discussion, brother?
Yeah, I'm all for people uniting and shit, you know what I'm saying? While at the same time, like me as a four-time convicted felon, alcoholic, drug addict, black man, my dad told me when I was young, said you got three strikes against you. One, you black. Two, you a black male. Three, you're an educated black male. And he was an
Yes,
officer
sir.
in the Department of Defense. I could understand that, and then I do now. And it is by the labels, the category, this capitalistic democratic case system, which is really just insane, right? But at
Yes,
the
sir.
same time, like, I understand like the war is purely psychological. It has many elements that the psychological war needs, which is the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, but it essentially is psychological. And once I remove the lust for a result of who to blame, I find that I have more power than I ever given myself credit for. As a sovereign individual, I was getting rid of the black, all these other labels, the convicted felon, man, all this stuff. I'm my own person. I'm my own individual, and like to understand that is pretty empowering. Where if the world comes together, cool. If the world don't come together, cool. Well, what the fuck am I gonna do either way? You know what I'm saying? What kind of person am I going to be when I interact with the white, the black, the brown, the yellow, the gray, the purple, whatever it is and stuff, because like, and as a melanated man and stuff, I would like to be fucking with melanated people on the same level. But, I got to be honest with myself. That's not the case. Just because a nigga black don't mean I'm let that nigga in my house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, like what I'm left with is like, really what I'm really left with is like, bro, you got to be that change that you would like to see in the world. And if it's just you, then that's as good as it's going to get. Then cool.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, I got to be
Yes,
okay.
sir, brother.
It's the hardest thing to do is be okay, because the problem ain't the problem. It's how I'm reacting to the problem that's the problem. And then really there ain't no problem. And that's the fucking problem.
Yes, sir. We gotta cause the problems, brother. When somebody
Man,
bring
like
it to us, I feel you,
that
brother.
the psychological thing, bro, I start nitpicking. A couple don't want to do my tours because I'm black. I'm suffering my own self. Maybe it's because they just didn't want to fucking do your tour or had a bad experience or whatever and stuff. But like, and I see how like I like to call it the establishment, right? Because I don't like saying they, I don't like saying white folk. I'm talking about the establishment, and it's an established system that
Yes.
encourages oppression, psychological suffering, suffrages, and you know, uh, not being equal. I think any man can treat another man as equal. I really don't think it's just white folks, because the Scots hate the Brits. You know what I'm saying? They've been pressing the fuck out them niggas for years. You know what I'm saying? And it comes down to like, what is my goal, man? Because if I want to change the world to my fucking beliefs and opinions, that's enslavement, really. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody wants to feel a certain different way that I don't agree with, then if I say that they can't, then I can't either. When I negate somebody else's right, I negate my own. So it's a fucking slippery slope. It's like a rock in a hard place, and it's just me in the middle. So what you gonna work with, mental ninja? Nigga, you fuck. What else you gonna do?
Has to start with you, brother.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
But
And I
yeah,
thank
like
you, brother.
yeah, they doing. It's a lot going on, and it's the establishment. I would primarily say is our our corporate marketing strategized system of power is supply and demand. I don't really think they care about color anymore. I think they're more or less using white privilege against black power. If you empower the white people to protect their white privilege, they're going to buy what they need to protect it because they're in fear of their skin
Indeed.
color. They're in fear that blacks going to get on top. And if you encourage the black people to be mad, they're going to be mad. And it's supply and demand and shit.
Peace to brother Chris Cyphers. Welcome to the platform, good brother.
What's going on, brother? How you doing, family? Shout out to the
Good.
brothers on the panel. Shout out to everybody in the chat. What's
Peace.
going on?
Indeed.
Big bro Leo, what up?
You know me listening, my brother, in the background, paying attention.
Hey, that's what's up. What's going on, big bro Kyrie?
Hey, what's going on, big brother? How are you, sir?
I'm chilling, man. High frequencies. I can't complain.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, I thank you, Mental Ninja. That's, very informative and on point, brother.
Bro, I had a long day, and that's all I came up with.
Yeah,
Appreciate you,
much
brother.
respect, man. I'm a ninja. You already know.
For sure.
I appreciate it, brother. Brother Chris, what's going on, good brother?
Man, I've been listening, catching the vibes and just tuning in to you brothers,
Now,
give this knowledge.
you originally from New York, brother. What do
Yes.
you think about them limiting and trying to end qualified immunity?
Um, I mean, I would say more of like, would this be something new that they've done? You know, um, we have to understand that it's gonna get worse.
Yes, and also you really can't trust them. They're full
Most
of trick
definitely,
bags. They're full of trick bags.
most definitely, yeah. This your modern day magician right there. You know, all these illusions, this trickery,
Yes,
and we need to stop falling for it, falling for the glitz and glamour, and really being tuned to what's really going on, and we need to really form some type of plan or something.
indeed. Now, another situation and subject I want to speak about is the police unions and the
Mm,
fraternities.
mm,
Now, the police have a union on taxpayers' dollars, and they have a fraternity on taxpayers' dollars.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not understanding how that's allowed, besides them being white and saying I say so. And everybody know how wicked and vicious Patrick Lynch is over there in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Lynch can see a police officer murder a child, and he'll come out and defend that cop.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll get mad when people call them out on their racism and when people don't trust them. They say they want to gain the trust of the people when they don't prove themselves trustworthy through their actions.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Leonardo, can you elaborate on that, brother?
Basically, we need to get him out some kind of way because he don't see us as human beings.
Yes, sir.
When anytime when a child can be killed by one of them and he still represent them, he needs to go. And that's what we
Yeah.
have to do with all of them people in position like that. Somehow we need to get them out because they're not producing. And that's the bottom line is what I feel they got to be out somehow,
They
some
come for
way.
us. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I remember back in '91 when a friend of ours was killed, myself and brother Kyrie, we were trying to get a civilian review board, something that most police departments are afraid of because that civilian review board can hold police officers accountable and actually have them fired. And you got to consider the wickedness and the craftiness of a police department who don't want a civilian review board. You don't want the citizens who you swore to protect. You know, it's cliche anyway, but you swore to protect to have a review board to actually do a reevaluation on the department and come and clean the department up. If the department have a bunch of say let's say shit, LAPD sheriff department, they just as corrupt as
New
New
York.
York. I know Chris, he's out there in that area. I know he can elaborate on that part as far as LAPD.
Man, bruh, they use man. It's a classic story. These cops out here do exactly what they want. They get back together and they come up with a story. It gets no simple than that.
Yes, sir. They come
Hey,
up with a story. Go
you know
ahead.
what's funny, right? Is like out here in Vegas, like the smartest of the police is out here. They use FBI tactics and stuff. We have an international community in and out, in and out. You know what I'm saying? So when they stop you, they're basically conducting an FBI profiling interview. They're asking the same questions over and over and over. And why? It's not because they're here to protect you. It's not because they're here to make sure that you're okay or nothing like that. It's to generate income because the police really are just to protect corporate properties, to protect the
Yes.
uh the ability for the establishment to continue funneling the people like we're not human to them. We are cattle, not even cattle, because this is what a cattle herder will do. The rancher will protect the cow up until the time it's time to go to the slaughterhouse. Think about that. And we are all potentially at all times potentially on this on that chopping block with that knocker. They get ready to knock the cow and shit, and use the body parts and skins and shit to get more people to buy into it, right? So when they have these people are defending the police is because for one, that's the supply and demand market of it. They want to keep the establishment would rather see, I feel, just because of the history and through observation, they want to keep the people divided because when
Yes.
a white cop kills a black kid, a child, a young man, and it doesn't matter, they can use that to generate income, to generate emotion, and people need to do something that emotion, whether it's meet up and protest. But then if they meet up and protest, if they're peaceful, you don't want them peaceful. You want them chaotic so you can fill prisons, so you can get indictments and all this other stuff out. And at the end of the day, like we say in Las Vegas, the house will always win as long as we're participating in that strategized motivation. We know that if they kill one of us, they want us to say something. That's why they put it on TV. They want to get the word out. When my homeboy tragically got shot by the police, and my other homeboy got dragged, everybody saw him on the national news in 2000 when he got pulled out of his car on the strip and shot 5 times because he was playing his music too loud, down low. They
Mm.
televised that shit, but not tragic because there's no publicity in it. Nobody cares about that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But if it's high profile, If you build it, they will come. And you get the whites defending their whiteness against the blacks, angry because their blackness, you got money involved.
Indeed, was it controlled opposition,
Exactly.
Brother Kyrie?
And then you need more police. And they need to be
Yeah,
organized.
yeah, but back to that question of dealing with police unions. You're talking about dealing with a whole different ball game altogether. That's very tricky because they can work on both sides and they do play both sides at times. Though when you're talking about in New York dealing with police unions protect the police officer. It's another lawyer, if you will, for the officer because they fight against the departments as well. But in some cases, they work with the departments, depending. Again, as brother Melanated Ninja was talking about, is that they help to keep this thing going in the same direction because it's a money factor that plays in it. If they can get the right money, then they'll turn and they'll flip on. But they're paid through their officers. The officers pay into a union that they want, and they representatives represent them. And as they represent them, they fight against their own departments. And sometimes the department don't want to fight against them unions because them unions can cause all kind of habits to them and keep them all legally tied up and have to pay money that they don't want to pay. So a lot of times they kind of hush up. They kind of back up from it. You know what I mean? It's like having another prosecutor on your side because the prosecutors work with these guys. And it's the
Yes,
same thing with these police unions. These police unions, man, work with the office. So when you fight against them, that's taking money out of their pocket, man. So however many police officers they have in New York City for whatever department that they have it for, that pay into that union, that allows them, man, to keep being able to get their pension. So they want to keep them, man, have not to be accountable for anything that's taking place with that. So
yes,
it's
sir.
like it's dealing with a whole different entity, man, inside of a corrupt police department anyway, and now you got added protection from the police union.
Yes. Mm, wow.
It's
Now,
And
layered. Keep it
you,
layered.
it's funny, like the old union, Jimmy Hoffa. The reason
Mm-hmm.
why he was so important because like the guy was more powerful or more important and more known than the president of the United States at that time.
You better believe it.
He had
You better believe it.
total sovereign control of the entire workforce that he could militarize strikes and build this and don't build that. So they had to get rid of him. And so in a sense, we look at the union on a person that's in the union as something positive for the individual, maybe even for
Right.
so a few of the group. But the union is like internal affairs for the police department. They are
You better
basically
believe it.
damage assessment and control because they don't
wow.
if they ever come for a reason to defund a entire police department is because the damage will be too great that you have to cut off a pinky toe. But don't worry, we'll take care of that and stuff. But if it comes to an infection to the whole body, the only time we'll ever see if the police are ever defunded across the board, it's not because we put in work, it's because they got a better fucking plan that does the work with half the motherfucking expenditure and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like when they lock us up, we're brought with charges. It's all about energy and currency and emotion. And the currency is the energy, is the electric current. That's why it's called currency. And it's about money. They bring charges to us. And then what they do? Put us in a cell vamped up off them charges, 100 years of charge, and you're a battery at that point, bro. It's sick.
And then they're gaining income off you being there.
And then there's a fatherless family, and it
Fact.
increases their opportunity to reach out to them through. And there's other secondary branches. I really truly believe the establishment has established the media as another arm of the military. The court system is another arm of the military. We're not at war with the terrorists of. We are the terrorists, the American people. You know what I'm saying? And in order to keep them in line, it's insane. They terrorize the terrorists to create terrorists. It's insane. The drug cartels, the the Encontras and stuff, the Snowfall TV shows. The CIA, they show us what they did. So when people say, "Man, no, the CIA probably that's a TV show," and they're still doing it. The mass shootings and stuff, the protests, like the motherfuckers might got a time machine for all we know. They already know what to do ahead of time, but whatever they got is so fucking proper and situated. It's so thought out. They know us better than we know ourselves, and they are able to dictate to us who we will be in the next round.
That's what they do. They actually have meetings with who they gonna call the enemy, the boogeyman that they created, and it's all a show. It's all propaganda, and it's all a show, and we watch it unfold right before our eyes. And if you're not a thinker, if you don't study, like if you read the book, the Tavistock Institute, they plan
Mhm.
they plan like 100 years in advance of what
Mhm.
they're going to do, and they put it in effect. In some of our lifetimes, some of the things that they're doing right now. If you read the Tavistock Institute, the book, they're doing right now, and they've done some of the things that we've seen unfold. It's in
You
the
know, it's
books.
what's funny is Nazi Germany, right? They had something the Americans weren't fucking with, and this is what turned the tide of the war. Not so you have they had people that were actually studying the stars as it was a science. Where we go from astronomy to astrology, they put it together and create like this real science that they were able to dictate it and understand because they realized that Genghis Khan he had two of these astrologer, only guys and stuff. Napoleon had one. Alex the Great had one. And he's like, well, these guys are doing these things. They got these certain guys with them. The Nazi Germans, they had like 150 their technicians on this astrology shit. And the American side was hearing about like, oh, it's bullshit, it's magic. They're on that cult shit. But then they started realizing that when they started looking into that, they have a little department's going to look into that. They're like, look, they're coordinating things with certain celestial events and it's working in their favor. And so that's what we started doing, the three generational imprisonment, all these kind of ideas, because and this is like where I get sad, right? Is that they're using this knowledge. We're not even looking for it. We're looking for a way out provided by somebody else who might be them. You know what I'm saying? We never know until the individual becomes actualized in his own sovereignty because they're operating as a phalanx, as a legion together, a well-oiled machine. It's like you're playing the fucking Boston Celtics with 8 fucking Hall of Famers on the team and 3 on the bench. You can't beat them. They're gonna win 10 championships. You know what I'm saying? But until we start doing like you see, the Nets gonna make their trades, the Lakers making their trades, we start stacking our own side individually first, and then like is known like it'll start to group up. That's the natural law. We start to link up like we're doing right now. Then it starts with
Exactly.
2, 5, 4, 8, and the laws of fucking nature will put the rest together.
Exactly. But we have to start. Indeed, brother. Indeed. Now I just wonder what is going to come of these crooked, state attorneys who try to defend these crooked cops with the qualified immunity. Because if you take Daniel Cameron over in Kentucky, this is a man that the people over there elected, and he refused to even look into prosecuting the police officer that killed the sister over there in Kentucky, Breonna Taylor. Now, getting rid of qualified immunity or limiting qualified immunity, they said it's going to be easier for police officers to be prosecuted. I don't know if that's on a civil matter or if it's on a criminal matter, but basically, thanks to Negroes like Lee Merritt and Benjamin Crump, what I don't like is to see that the civil matters is superseding the criminal matter. You have them settling for money before the criminal matter is not handled. And when the civil matter is handled before the criminal matter is handled, for them to take that money is a gag order.
Yep.
They can't even speak on it no more. So the family is not really getting no justice. Not there's no justice. They're just getting money, getting the bag,
You know
and
what's even
that's why the
real
sister
quick,
came out the other day.
and you know what's kind of fucked up is when they pay him, it's like you was with them, you helped kill him, you got paid to carry out a hit on your own people because you're receiving proceeds from this act, this event, you know. And the really sad thing is, and I get it, people do need money, they need a way of life and to provide and shit, and like they do that damage assessment, you know. The lawyers like, look, this is what we're gonna do, we're gonna throw so much money at them because they do got us, and if we try to drag it out in court, we can beat it, but we have to drag it out in court. That means the public could be involved. You got those certain news agencies, those certain reporters that like to do the truth as best of their ability, regardless of what sanctions the FCC will put on them. You know what I'm saying? Through their editors and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's simpler to pay them, and the people see the dollar signs and like, well, they're already gone. Let's just take the money, and we don't. It's basically like we don't want justice
But
because
you know
if
what
we did,
the mockery of that, mental ninja? The mockery of that is the money don't even come from the police budget. It don't come from their budget. It comes from the city,
Taxpayer.
the taxpayers' budget.
and that's a double bind, right? So the taxpayers, we pay the police department. We essentially fund. It's basically
Twice.
this. Yeah, we're funding the rope, the tree, and we are
Yes.
actually hiring somebody to tighten it around our necks before they kick the shit from up under us, right? And so
High
if you sue
paying
the police
firing squad.
department, yeah, if we sue the police department, now the police department needs money. Where are they gonna get that money? From us. It is a vicious cycle, bro.
Yeah, but if it
Brother,
comes out there, if it comes out their annual budget, not a budget yet to come, their annual budget, that'll kind of hurt them more. But when there's a lawsuit, a civil suit settled for let's say $20+ million, it comes out not the police budget, the taxpayer's pocket. That means the taxpayer hired, so to speak, the firing squad.
Yeah.
Brother Nasir, can I ask y'all a question?
Indeed.
It's a little off topic, but it's on topic. You know, I don't agree with us participating in their system of voting anymore.
I never did,
So
brother.
me either. I'm just bringing it out, but like I
Yes,
think
sir.
once we take a stand with that, if we can get enough of our people, they'll see we serious. We have to show these people that we're serious some kind of way.
Yes, sir. I
You
agree.
know
You know
what I
what?
mean? And believing in their system, because basically all they doing is like y'all saying, they're taxing our money and using it against us, right?
Yes, sir.
So we
Yes,
got to
sir.
show these people some kind of way, because I'm trying to find. It's hard. I want to denounce my citizenship, but I want to make sure I do it right, where I get all the money that they owe me, because they owe me money, and I ain't talking about reparations. I'm talking about with the contract that I did with them.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But it's crazy. That's just my personal situation. Now, my thing is, like I said, we need to do something to let these people know we serious. And I'll mute up. I just wanted to bring up that point about like, we can't believe in the mayor or the governor no more. No more. We
Oh
can't
no.
believe in none of that shit. So where do we go from here if we can't believe or get help from any other source besides ourselves.
You said it at the tail end of your sentence, brother. Ourselves. Just you know, I agree with that. Accept our own, be ourselves, and do for self. You know, we're a nation inside a nation, brother, and we generate. If you want to go economic, we generate enough funds to sustain ourselves. And if we spent with ourselves and didn't spend with our enemy who disrespects us and don't like us, we will make them suffer. What we have to do is those who I'm gonna change the subject briefly. Like with this anti-Asian hate narrative that they're pushing,
Oh man.
um, they are on team white supremacists and they disrespect us. They don't like us. They follow us around the farmers market, around the store, and if it wasn't for us, their business would not flourish. They'll go out of business if it wasn't for us because nobody supports the Asians more than we do.
Facts.
Nobody, nobody. Now,
Exactly.
if they're going to push that narrative, as long as they're pushing that narrative and they're going to be on team white supremacists, we can pull our money from them. Don't support them. Make their businesses suffer.
You know, it's funny.
If we make their businesses flourish, we can make them suffer. Go ahead,
You
brother.
know, it was funny. E40 had his verse on the Element of Surprise album when he talking about slanging yay, or I forget what song it was. He said, "How come niggas can't put their money together like Filipinos?" You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm a descendant from Cantonese people that came out here in the 1850s, 60s. The majority of the Asian community started migrating out here and stuff with, you know, a little bit of ability to live on their own, not under the black conditions that we had. You know, they actually came into a prepared condition that was a little bit easier for them as migrators, right? But it's funny that today, like recently, Asians are being attacked. Like you would have thought they really would have been attacked like last year when they killed us all, when they brought a globe ending, a world ending disease and stuff. So, like you said, the narrative, it is a
Yes, indeed.
narrative that they're using, that the establishment is instituting to renew the public awareness of relations with Asian communities. We're talking about China, the biggest one. You know what I'm saying? They killed us last year, the Asian flu, the Kung Fu flu. Now they're being punished and this and that. And this is the sad part, right? This is it is sad, it isn't sad, but it is that more is getting done when a guy shoots up. No disrespect to the working massage parlor girls and stuff, because I know what they do. You know what I'm saying? But the guy shoots him up. You know what I'm saying? And now it's an outcry, and the whole communities are getting involved. And you know, there's not even like really protests about it. And they're showing, look how these Asians can do it in the right way. Look at you, black Negroes. You guys get violent and sag your pants listening to hip hop and boomity boom boom, and you tear stuff up. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, it's like a multifaceted narrative propaganda is showing who's civil, who's humane, and who's aggressive and animalistic through
And that's
appearance.
and
Can I
that's
say
and
something
that's
real quick?
that's 1 second, brother Leonardo. That's
Go ahead.
propaganda also because they send those agent provocateurs in and they got the cameras rolling, and these people come in with masks on, you know, and they disrupt peaceful protests. To me, I don't believe in peaceful protests. I don't believe in that. So I tell people straight up, don't invite me to your protest because I'm gonna incite a riot. Straight up. I tell them straight up, don't invite me. Now, as far as the Asians doing things, you know, quote unquote right, we make attempts to do it that way all the time. And a lot of times when things are being torn up, I know emphatically that even police get involved in doing that. Brother Leonardo?
Yeah, what I was gonna say, just like what we were talking about. The media is saying a white boy went and shot up a massage parlor, but we're doing shit against them. You understand what they're saying? They're putting their
Exactly.
hate and blaming it on us like we did it. When the
Exactly.
actuality, it was one of their people that did it.
Exactly.
Hey, do you know that 70% of all hate crimes in America is conducted by the Caucasian community? Now,
Exactly.
this
Yes,
it
I
leads
believe that.
me it leads me to, and this is 2018 or 19 stats, right? So it leads me to come to one of a couple conclusions. Either Caucasian people, and I think this is a biased conclusion, Caucasian people are psychologically wired for hate and violence, or it's instituted through propaganda and education that this is what we do. This is what you do. I'm walking through Walgreens, black guy following me around the store. I got my mask on, I'm dressed in all black. I'm a paying customer. He follows me around the store. So I walked in, he looked at me and followed me. Left the register by itself. And I turned to him after I went on the second aisle, and he comes and he started to fucking fix shit. The next aisle that I'm in, every aisle I go in, he wants to fix it. Maybe he wants to make it appealing to me. Who knows? I said, bro, 70%. I just found this out like a couple of days ago. I was like, 70% of all hate crimes are conducted and mass shootings are conducted by white people, and you following me? There's 15 white people in this motherfucker right now, nigga. You better watch my back. And he didn't like that because he knew he was an older dude. He knew what I meant.
What you
You know, and
just said, brother. Your statistics and your I agree. I agree with you, brother.
I
bro,
agree with
even
that statistic too.
hey,
I agree with you, brother.
check this statistic out. We
From
all
my
know this one.
55 years of being on this earth,
Guess how many of the percentage of America is Caucasian? Same
There
statistic.
you go. Just
67 to
absolutely, brother.
74%. 14% is African American. 7 to 8% of that is African American males. I think 4 or 5% of that are under 18, and we are 60 to 70% of the incarceration rate, the black male. Do you know that with those numbers, literally there is 3 to 4%, give or take, African black. It might just be us on this damn panel, the only free niggas. But look, I'm a convicted felon, so that brings it back even further. Not currently incarcerated, but under a form of indentured incarceration. And it's like crazy. And when Leo said, what kind of plan can we come up with? I'm gonna say this: the Rosicrucian order, the old one from the 1500s, they started doing these leaflets, this manifesto. They were an invisible order. You couldn't find them, you couldn't locate them, you never knew where they met. All you just see is these papers being posted up. See, we don't have the media. We don't have hip hop because any hip hop is going to be through the media or in the media outlet, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, that they control. What we do have is fucking graffiti. That's what we got. But we don't look at that as a viable way to get a message communicated, even though we do freedom for speech and
We
press
used
in a
to.
sense. Yeah,
We
well,
used to
yeah, definitely.
on those
The
trains, brother.
trains,
Look,
the
when those
trains.
trains run all over the boroughs, brother. Yeah, we used to, especially New York.
Pen one, nigga, that nigga's a legend. That motherfucking
Indeed,
legend now here from New York, from Brooklyn,
yeah, no doubt,
right?
no
And
doubt.
and this is it, right? Is that with that form of propaganda, we don't like secret societies, but that's what it would have to be, of people who are willing to like start to. If I don't know if you have them in your city, but we got them in our city, the obey signs on the fucking
I've
meters
seen
and the
them. I've seen
boxes.
them.
Yeah, and that's what it is. We don't know who does them. We don't have a clue. And the only way for us to be able to get it done is to do without doing it and start creating a new fashion that is very anonymous. It's very there, but we don't know who's doing it. But then the
And
thing
that's a
is, they
mistake some of
smart.
us make, brother. That's a
What
mistake
was that?
some of us make. We make the mistake sometimes when we're coming together and doing things. We make a mistake and come out in the public prematurely. We need to start doing that. When we come out, we need to have it to the point that there's nothing, no type of fight against it. No one can do anything about it once they see us. We need it like that. I agree with that, brother. I agree
Yeah,
with
look, the police departments, bro, they protect their own. I can't knock that. Even though I don't agree with the protection and why they do it, they're doing it. And it's like we do have the ability, but like when we share things on these panels, taking back out to the world with the world, sharing with the people in the physical, and it might catch on. You might hear some nigga talking about this on another panel. Same thing was talking about his name was Robert Polson. Like fucking Fight Club, niggas in the bus is echoing that. She walked to the back of a store. They all in a group chanting this like a mantra, and that's like it has to be like a new religion that the people adhere to, like the Underground Railroad and shit, because it gets done. History shows it gets done, but we got to follow the steps that they're doing today. If you can't beat them, join them, but don't become them.
Can I say
Every,
something real?
go
A
ahead,
real
brother.
a real quick story. Like I said, I'm 55 years old. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Right. I became a veteran at 21, 22. I had no criminal record. Basically, served my country, got hurt, became 100% disabled veteran. Still no criminal record. Uh, when I turned, say, go fast forward, I was 50 years old. Basically, I had two rental properties in Philadelphia where I used to live. I moved to Georgia. So basically, me and my wife went to Philadelphia to evict the tenant. My wife is licensed to carry. I was licensed to carry also. You know, besides for being a vet. And basically, my tenant, to make a long story short, my tenant said I threatened her with a firearm. She was a PHA tenant. And basically, the cops locked me up and made me go to court for my own gun that was properly registered and that was cleaner than a motherfucking Board of
because
Health.
because you're
You
because
see
you're
what
a
I'm saying?
brother. That's why.
They
You're a
basically
brother, and they don't
tried to
want you to have it.
Yeah, they basically tried to put a criminal case against me. I'm 51 years old, no criminal history at all, 100% disabled vet. They tried to throw me in the system with a crackhead saying I threatened her. And basically, the judge threw that shit the fuck out. She seen that I didn't. They was trying to get me with terroristic
Every
threats.
single threat. Mm.
You
They
know what I
do that.
mean? First time they tried to get me to take a plea. I told them, kiss my ass. I ain't taking shit. I hired me a lawyer and I beat the fucking case.
They do that because, for one, they don't want you to have your firearm, brother. They
Yeah,
want to keep us unarmed so they could come in our homes and do what they want to do.
Yep.
yeah.
You can't
Basically,
protect
like I
your home.
said, make a long story short, I had a clean record to 51 years old, and then they tried to put a case on me for
Hey,
defending my own shit.
hey, you know what? They do want us having guns, just not legal. They want us to have the imported guns. Ain't no Uzis made in Harlem. They make
You're right,
contract with
brother.
them. They bring him
You're
here.
right.
They bring the dope here, and they want us to be protecting. It's fucked up, bro. They want us to protect our own fucking destruction. They want us to guard ourselves as we kill ourselves. And the thing is, they're talking about gun control again, right? Yeah, because that's a very polarizing topic for the white Republicans and the Democrats. And when they get them polarized, emotionally charged, then they participate in the voting and the legislative bullshit, right? They're not going to take away the gun rights. Well, the NRA will when Black Panthers walk up with some guns at Capitol Hill in LA.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with gun control. Hit
Me
your
too.
target.
I don't need no gun. I don't carry no gun. I would like to get my gun
Gun
rights
control
back
is
as an
hitting. Gun
accomplishment.
control. Gun control is aiming and hitting your target. That's the gun control I believe in.
I think gun control globally, because the thing is, you want to take our rights to defend ourselves. That becomes like we push the football field back, and I understand. I'm human too. I have a family. I want to protect my own, but like the likelihood of me being in a shootout this week is like damn near non-existent. I can't predict the future because I try to do my best to conduct myself in a healthy manner and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know that if I live in the hood, I probably will have a bigger chance of getting shot. I don't carry firearms. I'm a convicted felon. And I got to be smart. I know that there's stipulations on my own existence to impede my existence. And before I didn't know, but now I do. So I got to be smart about it. Not bicker and bitch, but be smart. Because it's about self-preservation. That's what this is about. You know, and the thing is, if you can get the people to be in fear, this we got religion. Religion is going to protect you after you die, and politics are going to protect you while you're alive. But it's all about fear, and fear makes money, supply and demand. I want to be safe, so give me Jesus or give me guns or give me crack. I'll numb myself. That's what we do, and they feed us, and they
So,
feed us, and they feed us.
yes, sir.
We built
Well,
our prison, bro.
what
We
I was
built
going to
this
say
thing.
real quick, see, I serve this country, so if I can serve y'all, why can't I serve and protect myself? You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
Yes, you
I
can kill
signed my
for them
name on that
all the
dotted
time.
line to serve and protect for you. So I'm serving that same on that dotted line to serve and protect myself and my family.
Hey, Leo, but you know how they look at it? You weren't serving to protect this country. You were serving to protect their interests. You are no longer an interest. Your house is not an interest to them, to you, but they can get you out there and put another person in there and still get taxes. They can lock you up and have a couple more crack babies born and still get fucking money. They got contingencies. But I do agree
That's
with
what
you,
they
though.
do.
No bullshit.
But that's what they do. They always use, noble words and put a noble cause on it as far as a title, for the reason you're going to fight, you know, their wars. But it's basically for to keep corporate America above every entity on this planet. When you're fighting a war, it's to keep even on a police a local level in the police department, like the brother said earlier, you're serving and protecting a interest in people's property. Because when they come around to where we live at, they disrespect us where we live at. But they don't do that when they go to certain neighborhoods. They'll never do that in certain neighborhoods. Why? Like, take for instance, the um the Jewish neighborhood. They never go in their neighborhood doing that. Why? You got renters and you got owners. Renters will never control nothing, but the owners will. People who own their homes and own their home, their own whole entire community, they're in control.
Hey, you know what's fucked up? Speaking about Jewish neighborhoods, I've been over in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, right? I lived over at the on Marcy and Broadway and shit off the JMZ train for a couple months. Ain't nothing but white folks in that neighborhood. And this is how they flip it, or how the establishment flips it, right? Malcolm X said it, right? About loving the people who oppress you and hating the people who don't, right? The media does it. Is that when we talk about anti-Semitic statements, it is against all white Jews who aren't even Jews. Semites are Arabs, Muslims. Bin Laden was a fucking Semite. When we went to war with Iraq, that is anti-Semitic, but we don't think it is because we have been propagandized to believe one thing that is not the truth. And I always wonder, like, if Nazi Germany, hey, I hope I don't get your shit struck for this stuff, But I always,
Please, brother.
okay.
Go ahead. Say what you gotta say, brother.
All right, so I was wondering if Nazis, they hated the Jews so much, why they never attacked the land that was going to become Israel? It was something going on with the Europeans that they didn't like, their own people that they didn't like. It had nothing to do with the Asiatics. It didn't.
White on white crime at its worst.
And guess who
On the
funded
highest
both
point.
sides? We did. And on the drugs and the war in Iraq, guess who
Always do.
funds both sides?
We
We
did.
got the drugs from South America, the crack, the cocaine. We got the opium from the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? We got to have powers over there. Where we get the guns from? The arms race. Why are they make all these Kalashnikovs and these Uzis and shit? Well, because we need to have an arms race because we're going to disperse them into the communities. We're going to destroy the communities so they can defend themselves. It's since 100 years? Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
They gave Iraq and Iran. They supplied weapons to both sides.
They do it here, bro.
During the war. Oh yeah, they supply weapons on both sides on a local level, Bloods and Crips. Oh yeah, definitely. You know the
That's what
mockery of
the
it all, brother. The mockery of it all. They gave the Bloods and the Crips their colors.
Yep.
They gave them
Yep.
their colors, all the way down to their colors. They gave it to them,
Yep.
and they're fighting on that lie today.
That they've turned into a fashion, into a they literally in a petri dish created a culture. You know what I'm saying? There's a I forget what movie it was from. He says, "I've been conditioned, brother. Even my conditioning's been conditioned." I'm like, God damn, I know how that fucking feels. The arms race of the Cold War era. We're afraid that they're making all these guns because they defend themselves. They weren't making them defend themselves. Well, they were. Their interests, and they had interest in bringing cocaine up. They had interest in bringing fucking. They gave the Taliban the guns from the stockpile. The other guns they brought to America so they can give guns to the South American, and it was all about drugs for what? For control, to dumb up the people. And now we got legalized weed, and we don't see it. We just don't see it because that's what we wanted.
See, but Mental Ninja, you can't put weed in the same class as cocaine. They're in two
It doesn't.
different classes.
I know it's different classes, but who's teaching it? The government.
Yeah,
They're
but
giving it to
you
us.
can't put weed in the same class as cocaine and heroin.
Look, this all I'm saying is like this. Timothy Leary, back in the 60s, he was an advocate to government secured and ran drug programs where you can go smoke dope, smoke crack, smoke meth, do all the things, but it was controlled and the government dispersed it to the community and stuff. And they're like, JFK's brother, Robert F. Kennedy, was like, no, we can't do that. And Timothy Leary can understand why, because they already had a plan. They're going to use those drugs to destabilize communities, to build up prisons, to get more police for public interest of the establishment. And so when they legalize weed, it's for a reason, not because they like us. They don't give a fuck and keep us dumb. But yeah, it's not the same class as far as the product, but the goal, the agenda, I would say is along the same means. The prohibition, you stop alcohol. The only people who sell alcohol, the bootleggers, and they get locked up, they get caught. It goes straight to the mob, the mafia and the mob, right? And then after they got all this shit locked up and controlled, then you make it legal, but all the power is in one hand already.
Yeah, it's like when it's like now the with the weed, they make up all kinds of loopholes to try to make it hard for the brothers and the sisters who want to have a dispensary.
Yep.
Make it hard for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? After all of that, you know what I'm saying, locking us up for years. Now when they make it legal, they make it hard for the brothers and the sisters to get dispensaries.
And
That's
ain't
the
letting them
crazy
niggas
part.
out. And won't let them niggas out.
Exactly.
The dude just got out of prison for 76 years, bro. He was in prison. I know you heard about, 70 years. He had been a
They
part
locked
of some
him up when he
stabbings.
was 3.
He was
They locked him up when he
14 or
was 3 years old.
15. Served a 70-year sentence, and now like that's cruel and that's harsh punishment. You already got your time. How many brothers are locked up from zero tolerance laws over a seed? They got 3 strikes,
Yeah,
3 times struck out.
that's that legislation that the current president wrote.
Exactly.
The current president wrote. He wrote the law. He and Bill Clinton that Negroes love. They wrote the '94 crime bill that Negroes love, and then Joe Biden actually made a distinction between cocaine and crack.
Which is the same thing.
Which is the same thing. Yet one is raw and one is cooked. They just processed different. Yet he made the distinction through locality, and he wrote the law and the punishment based on locality. If if you're in a so-called quote unquote nice neighborhood, meaning a white neighborhood, according to them, you get a slap on the wrist. But if you're caught in the hood with crack, they throw the book at you. Joe Biden wrote this law.
I don't think that the World War II ever ended, bro. The things that happened after that, we get their scientists and shit. Most of the Nazis go to South America, and like 20 years later, you got crack coming out of fucking like somebody like with the fucking magic wand and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we're still under a lot of things that were happening in that time today. 100-year plan, you said. I can see that being carried out. Just I be watching Snowfall. I watched the movie Lords of War of how and to me, I'm like, either this is like some fucking somebody just made this idea up, or this is CIA's way of disseminating the truth to the people without having it directly tied to them. So you can say like, oh, that was a movie. That's not real. Like, and we can't
No,
talk
it's
about it.
subliminal, brother. It is
Yeah.
subliminal. They always put the subliminal on a film or a series. They do that. But it's just that we have exactly art imitating life. We have to look, we have to watch it, and we have to be mindful of it. Some of us look at certain things for entertainment.
But if somebody on Instagram rapping a damn song, that shit could get them motherfuckers 10, 20 years.
Exactly.
Snitching on their shit. What? MF Doom.
Yeah, but they saying it's snitching on themselves. Yeah. What about the people who write these scripts and have them enacted?
That's what I'm saying. They're snitching on themselves too.
And who
controls
the whole? Who controls
it's
the
no
outlet?
different. It's
the
no
FCC.
different. It's no difference. It's the same thing. They snitching on themselves too. The only thing is we're not making them accountable for it.
That's They're white and they say so.
Well,
they are white and they say so. That's what it is.
Hey, look. MF Doom, the rapper that passed away. I don't know if y'all know MF Doom. This nigga was the greatest rapper of all time in my book. Fucking amazing what he did, what he accomplished. He hates rap. He hates the industry. And that's why he wore the mask. He wrote the song called Rap Snitches. And it goes, rap snitches, telling all their business, sitting in court and be their own star witness. Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here. And that's what it is, bro. And the FCC controls the dissemination of the information to the population. And what they do is like, they create the culture, they create the mode of conduct and behavior. I did a fucking research proposal in psychology class back in 2012 of how negative and positive rap, it can be designed to, in Pavlov's dog setting, to control the behaviors and dictate and the behaviors, emotions, and morals of the people who listen to it. And so if it's on Instagram, that's what we got. Blacks got Instagram and TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And we see it there. It must be cool because we're watching it. We haven't changed. It's got likes.
It took our art form and they used it and they made it propaganda. And they had to take and use a certain type of hip hop for their propaganda. Because you take a wise intelligent, he don't get play like he should. You take an intelligent MC. You take an MC, not a rapper. You take an MC. You don't get played. But these rappers who out here spitting the nonsense get all kinds of play because hip hop's been made a propaganda machine.
Hey, look, and if y'all seen Nas X's new video, he ain't direct that shit. The fucking government, the establishment directs the message to be sent out. You do the rap. We'll pick and tell you what we want you to rap about because we have contracted you. Your name, your likenesses is us, is ours. We own the rights to your existence.
Where did he come from?
Was that?
Where did he come from? He just popped out of nowhere. Where did he come from?
Look at the sign of the times. I'm not against the LGBTQ community at all. I'm in an order that is full of them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not against them at all. But like, this is how it works. Every 3 to 5 years, you have fashion and culture changes, right? 20 years ago, we were wearing baggy pants, fucking Doc Martens, and fucking FUBU, and fucking Ben Davis, and 13 jerseys and shit. And then like 5 years after that, new 2000s, everybody's wearing pink. A little bit after that, everybody got the fucking colorful sunglasses on, Soldier Boy.
Everybody besides me. No,
it's because you old school, bro. You old school. You all in black, in the corner with your heart folded. But look, I've watched it, right? And what you do is like supply and demand. If everybody's wearing baggy pants, then you can only market baggy pants to them. So what you do is you get an artist and make a commercial to wear skinny pants, and then one person wears it, and he sees them on TV wearing it, and now you have a whole new market. Everybody's gonna buy the skinny
You know,
pants. So what you can do? Make them gay.
what's
Everybody,
crazy about
Raz
that? You see big people, 300-pound people. You're not skinny. I don't care how skinny your jeans are.
with some warm ups on, like they didn't hit the gym, like they about to go run a mile and shit.
You
Hey, look,
get skinny. Then you can wear skinny jeans. Get skinny.
yeah, and Razzcast said it back on the song with Killer Priest. He said this is 1998, 1999 on the Killer Priest the Masada album. He says if next week's fad was hip hop fags, you see a lot of these thug niggas in drag. Believe that, and it happened. It happened right before our
They can,
eyes.
they can keep all of that because I'm not. I don't follow trends for one. I buy what I like. You know, and my brother knows when I try a suit on, I buy a suit. I get it tailored. You know what I have to do in order for me to buy that suit.
But you have
If,
kids,
if I
right?
if I can't do security in that suit, if I can't throw a side blade kick in that suit and those pants, I don't buy them.
Can't
I
do
Hey,
have
it.
to
back in the
be able
day,
to. I gotta be able to move like I'm fighting in a suit. That's how I try a suit on. Jacket, pants, and everything. I gotta be able to throw a side blade or a wheel kick in the suit. If I can't, the pants too tight.
hey, you know what? The suit universal of all times, right? But like, so you have kids, right? Are they grown?
I have children, grandchildren. Yes,
Okay,
my
so
youngest is my
and
youngest is 18.
and I know you do work with the youth in your community and around it is to the best of your ability, right? So
Yes,
this
I
is
do.
what they count on. Is they count on brothers like you and me, like we're not changing our fads, we're not listening to that because when they do that, they create a gap. Now we don't know what they're listening to. And now they're getting their instruction, their culture, their behavior, their dress code from somebody they've never fucking met. But for us, I have a 7-year-old. I have one child. He's 7 and stuff. I gotta be up on the Teletubbies, the Bubble Guppies. I gotta be up on all that. I gotta get down and listen to it and watch with them because when he gets like 15 and whatever the fuck kind of freaky rap they cut out there and shit, right? I gotta know it so I can be in there with him and stuff. I got to, bro. I can't let him slip away to where he's being raised by the industry through
You can't.
YouTube, bro.
You can't. It all depends on when you introduce or allow because certain things you just can't allow your child to do. Now, 7 years old, my child won't see no parts of a social media at age 7. No parts of it. And if it was, it would have every lock and restriction on that device because he or she would not be able to click on anything. Because I have grandchildren that age, you know,
But hey, look,
7,
you don't
10
got
years.
to. SpongeBob take his pants off.
Well,
Go to a
yeah,
place called
that's a fact.
go to this place called the Krusty Krab, and it's like, and this establishment, they are fucking really they're sociopaths. They do
They're
not
wicked.
care.
It's satanic. It's
They're
satanic, brother.
in the worst possible. We're not talking about Satan. That satanic is like believing yourself as a god or a deity. We're talking about satanic as
Yeah, you
pure
got to guard
corruption,
your
and
child
treating people
against
as
it.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing is like the system, the establishment has set up through the religion as well because the religion pitches, and I'm not against religion at all. I think they're beautiful. They have good, excellent morals and ways of conduct, but on a group thought level, it is able to create a lot of dogmatic and superstitious beliefs, which leads to tyranny and oppression. And that's how the establishment is able to moderate and legislate the internal communities and stuff based on conformed fears, conformed beliefs, fitting in, right? So they talk about in the churches about a God that we don't ever get to see, but we pray to. And then given the Caesar what Caesar's, guess who steps in? To represent God, the government. That's why there's a separation from church and state, but there is. The church is a branch of the state, and the state equally is a branch of the church. It is the two-headed dragon that we've all been wondering about. Is faith and government. We all know, I'm sure every brother on here knows what they would like to be as a good, righteous person, how they want to be treated, doing the others you want done to yourself and shit. You know what I'm saying? But when we have establishments dictating to us who to hate, when to hate, why to hate, what to fear, we lose all sense of our own humanity of righteous decision. And we cease to be human. We become automatons. And then we're primed up for social media and the next emotionally dragged out situation on TV that is sent to us purely for our emotional wants and needs, because they know that's what we want, and they're gonna give it to us. Like Leonardo said, how do we stop it? Stop tuning in, stop watching it. But that's hard, bro. That's real hard, because we gotta know what we're gonna talk about in the next panel.
Brother Kyrie.
Well, brother, I'm just sitting back, man, absorbing right now, listening to the brothers, man, give dialogue. Uh, I think we're doing a pretty decent build on these topics. But getting back to the topic at hand and what you was dealing with this with the police and what's going on now and what we need to be doing, sticking together as a unit and coming together collectively and allowing ourselves to be in a more stronger bond and unit with each other, because there's nothing that the establishment is going to do or hasn't already put into play that is going to see us as melanated people, people of blackness, to elevate. So we got to do it for ourselves. We got to separate from this establishment and from this people, because they don't tend and seek for us to do anything. And they don't want to see us do it. So we got to come.
Yes. And they're absolutely disagreeable to live with in peace.
Hey, I just y'all know who Stephen Biko was?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I never knew until like 4 nights ago. I watched
Mm.
Cry Freedom. Fucking this nigga plays Malcolm X too, and I was like, bro, I they talk about the Nazi thing with the Jews, like, bro, but this is the apartheid, and what's happening there is still happening here, and it's probably still happening there and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it was a shit that Stephen Biko was talking about, bro. You know what I'm saying? Why they got rid of him and shit. And it's like, and for every brother on this panel, that's the ultimate thing that we face as individuals who make a conscious decision to speak on the conscious decision that they've made. When you get too big, they gonna take you out. If motherfucking next thing you get on, brother Nasir, you got fucking 300,000 motherfuckers tuning in. Oh, nigga, your days are numbered. Enjoy your next 24 hours and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's like Socrates said, you can't stop. You can stop me, but you can't stop us. There's always gonna
But
be another person.
that's what I have to face if that's what, that's one thing I don't fear, because for one, it's the inevitable, and if that's the way that it happens with me, teaching my people and raising the conscious level of my people and making an attempt to get my people out of the condition they're in, then so be it.
What
So
they
be
say,
it. Because
Can,
because
show and
because
prove.
can I
exactly.
say this real
Because,
quick, brothers? Real
yes, sir.
quick.
Go ahead, Leonardo.
Like I always say, we have to connect the religion and the government together. And once we wake more people up to religion and government being the same entity, maybe some of our people will wake up. But while we still divided on that being one source that's holding us back and taxing us, we have to identify that source and let our people know that source.
Hey, because look, Leo, there's only really one religion, fucking yours, you. That
I
when they
believe in
credit
spirituality. I don't believe
the,
in religion.
the word, well, I'm talking about what you believe, your innermost wants, desires. That is your faith, your ideology of what it is. But when we group it up, it becomes something different. I don't need
As a
nobody to believe what
Muslim,
I believe.
I don't believe in religion either. I don't. I believe in righteousness and righteous conduct, because people people take Islam as a religion when it's not. Islam is righteousness. It's not a religion, and we have to I'm gonna say it like this: wickedness is a spirit, also.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a spirit because some people have it in their mind and in their hearts to do wickedness. So when we say that we are spiritual, it doesn't mean that you're righteous because you say you're spiritual. We can say, okay, I believe in spirituality. It doesn't mean that you are on the right or the righteous course because you say you believe in spirituality. That's really not, as far as I'm concerned, deep. But when you make that decision to conduct yourself righteousness and you love your people and you will go and you'll put yourself on the line for your people. I don't care if I die in that process. I don't. Why? Because if you're born, you live and do nothing, once you die physical death, you are dead for real. If you don't do nothing while you're here.
You was
So
dead the
what we
whole
do,
time.
exactly. So what we do while we're here determines whether or not we live when we're gone from here physically. So
Mm-hmm.
all of us, the brothers here, Leonardo, brother Kyrie, brother Chris, brother Mental Ninja, all the brothers here have it in their mind and they have our people best interest at heart. Want to see our people win. So we just got to put our minds together and come, like you said, come together and put into action. Has to be action taken.
And you know what? It's like you guys
We have
in
our
order to do
children.
that, and in order to do that, you got to get that knowledge.
We always exactly, and
Knowledge via accumulation.
men sharpen men like steel sharpen steel. We have to constantly build with each other, not only on the intellectual level. People. I remember brother Kyrie in many of our conversations. People talk about how big the Earth is. Okay, 196,940,000 square miles. Um, People talk about whether it's round or whether it's flat. How much of it do we own? That's the real question. How much of it is it ours? And if we don't have any of it for ourselves, it doesn't matter whether it's round or whether it's flat or how big it is. It doesn't. That's what you need to concentrate on. And that's, building on a physical level. We can build all day intellectually. What we have to do is come together and build on a physical level.
Yo, and that's where you get that real Islam, that I self Lord and Master. Fuck if the world's a trapezoid, if it's this many miles, that many miles. If I don't own this part of it or that part of it, then I don't own the part that I'm standing on right now, my cipher. If I got knowledge, if I got that I self Lord and Master myself, I could take 2 steps to the right or 2 steps to the left, and I own that shit. Because what happens is the floods will come and take the land away, whatever you want to call it and stuff. The establishment will come and take the land away, but they can't take the land, that garden that's your spirit, your soul, your mind, and your ability to cultivate and shit. And once the individual was able to grasp the the levity of that concept, they essentially gods on earth.
Indeed. Indeed. We're the gods, brother.
Almost
You better
definitely.
believe
We're the gods. It's like, the problem is that we look outside of ourselves. We have to see ourselves as the gods and live and act as the gods. And
Hey,
stop,
that comes with a heavy price, bro. That's a sacrifice to live as a god, because like is known to like. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to be God, I gotta know. what it is, what it means. You know what I'm saying? And that calls for internal reflection, not external.
We have to always study to show ourselves approved and constantly be a student. Constantly be a student.
Manifest itself, but it's going to manifest itself through the physical. If you
Yep.
got it internally, the only way that's going to be able to manifest itself and anybody to see it, it's got to come through external. We can't have one without the other. The brother had
Yes,
said earlier that it's the spirit, but the spirit is attached to something, someone, somebody. Key word there, body. It's attached. It's gonna have to show itself and manifest itself at some point.
indeed.
We have to get out of. We have to get out of. And I don't mean us on the panel, but a lot of people are into the notion that of mystery. We got to get out of that. Not a mystery. This is real.
Exactly.
You are and can obtain and be the God that you are trying to be, and treat those and treat others the way in which you want to be treated. So now what we do is we create a landmass and we create a people, man, of God sitting right here, man, on the earth. We're not attached to some that's in the sky.
Exactly.
Hey,
We're
don't it
living, man.
say?
No spook, brother.
Hey, don't it say somewhere that the spirit became flesh? Mystery fucking solved, bro. Go look in the mirror.
Brother, that's it. That's
Yes, sir.
it.
That's it, brother. That's it.
When it says that the spirit moved upon the waters, all it's talking about is that the spirit moved upon your brain. Your brain ain't
Yes.
nothing but water. The thought ain't nothing but electricity. Your skin
Exactly.
ain't nothing but the land. Everything that's inside of you, as far as your tissues and stuff, ain't nothing but the vegetation. Your bones is the rock. You are, your bloodstream is the water.
Yes, sir.
All aspects and parts of you, the microcosm to this whole universe that's the matter.
It's all in the cord, brother. Everything has to keep moving. If I mean, even your blood has to make a total revelation, a revolt revelation, a revolution towards
Yes,
throughout your
sir.
body. You got to revolve all the way around your body. And if you poke a hole in it, the blood leaks out, right? And
Yep.
if your blood stop moving, if your blood stop moving, you die. It has to keep moving, just like everything else has to keep moving constantly, regardless of what it is. If it stop moving, and you know what stagnated water smell like, right?
Oh yeah.
Nasty in the motherfucker. It smell
So
like
so
goddamn trailer park water.
Sulfur and shit.
Gassy and shit.
That's exactly what it is. Trailer
Yep.
park water.
Oh, I
yeah,
know.
so flies and all kind of bugs and everything on that stagnated water, so that it has to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Indeed.
Yeah, that's cause them trailer parks, they got water tanks. And then they water tanks, it's just sitting water.
It's not moving.
It's not moving. So that's why you get that nasty gas egg smell like water. That's where it comes from. And it's basically water, like I always say, water it needs movement. If it's not, then it's dead water.
You get algae.
Indeed.
That's where the algae come in. Algae already in it, and once stop moving, they start making their little communities and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Indeed.
Mosquito breed and everything starts from there.
Mhm. It's just funky. It's nasty, man. It's nasty.
And that's basically, brother, how we have to be. As far as we got to keep moving. We have to keep
Always.
moving, constantly moving. We got to constantly study, constantly be a student, constantly be watchful, constantly be mindful. You know, as I don't know if I know Leonardo and I know brother Chris and I definitely know brother Kyrie because basically he's my enlightener. I don't know brother Mental Ninja's school of thought, but all general orders are in effect. Put it that way.
Oh, most
Yes,
definitely.
sir.
Are
Yes,
in
sir.
effect, constantly in effect.
That's right, brother.
You know, we
Yeah,
and we have to.
my enlightener been on pause since COVID. I'm waiting. I'm just
Okay.
here waiting on some more lessons. But when it's
Yes,
time, it's
sir.
time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate the build, brothers. It's been very, inspirational and pertinent. The information that was dropped here. Um, this is the very first time that my brother, Mental Ninja and Leonardo, who I look forward to speaking to today, joined the platform. And brothers are always welcome when we do the builds. You know, I appreciate you coming through. Um, brothers can give their last sentiments before we digress. I'm gonna go according to how I see the platform. Brother Leonardo, give your last sentiments, brother, before we digress.
Yes, sir. Much love, much respect to everyone. You know what I mean? Thank you for allowing me to come onto your platform, and like I said, much love to the brothers. I'm here, my brother. I'm here. That's all I'm letting
Thank you for
everybody know.
gracing.
I'm here. You need me, I'm here. Y'all have a good
Thank you
evening,
for
man.
gracing. Thank you for gracing the platform with your august presence, brother.
Thank
Brother
y'all.
Kyrie.
Yes, sir. Um, I just want to say, man, I salute all the brothers, man, for coming in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Melanated Ninja, thanks for coming through. Brother Leonardo, thanks for coming through. And
Yes, sir.
my big brother Chris, thanks for coming through. I appreciate you guys, man, coming through, and I look forward, man, to build with you guys. And I all of you, brother Nasir,
Yes, sir.
Brother Lin-
Alaikum salam, sir.
yes, sir.
Uh, Brother Chris.
um, yeah, it's a great build. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you allowing me to come on and build with you brothers. And
Appreciate you coming.
I appreciate hearing everybody's standpoint. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody was part of the build. I'm pretty sure you're gonna see me around. And till next time, my brothers. Salute.
Yes,
Salute.
sir.
Brother Mental Ninja.
Yeah, man, I appreciate coming up, man. I was playing Call of Duty and I was like, oh shit. Let me jump on this real quick.
Yes,
Uh
sir.
if there's anything that I can take from this, and I really enjoyed like a real peaceful uh conversation with a lot of dynamic, a lot of that's power, a lot of power, right? Is if anything I could take from this conversation what I just witnessed and was a part of today, got to participate here, is that we can come together.
Yes,
And
sir.
this is a show that like it might not happen like a global boom, snap your fingers, ain't no shit, you know what I'm saying? But it shows that it's in development and it takes work in parts. You got to start working certain muscle groups together and stuff. Learn to read a certain line in a certain way and stuff before you get to the next one. Then after you read the whole thing, you got the whole paragraph and the whole chapter, then the whole page. You know what I'm saying? So it is evidence to me that this shit, what we talking about, we working on it by just doing what we do just now.
Indeed. And I
Yes,
thank you,
sir.
brother, for coming through.
For sure, for
Yes,
sure. Y'all be easy, all
Salute.
right?
Indeed, brother.
you too, brother.
All right, one.
Well, we're going to end this broadcast now. This is the Enemies Public, and our brother Nasir. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.